I bet you can't make a chocolate cake without milk, butter, or eggs. Challenge accepted. Chocolate cake is the quintessential birthday or dinner party dessert. But how do you make a chocolate cake without eggs or butter? Does it sound impossible? It's totally possible. Eggs are typically used as a leavener. Instead, I'm going to use unsweetened applesauce and some baking powder. And this is a hack that's traditionally used in some vegan baking. The applesauce adds the moisture of the egg and the baking powder adds the leavening. I'm gonna whisk that together first, and that's just gonna sort of activate the baking powder. I want to add a lot of chocolate flavor to this cake, so I'm going to use both cocoa powder and also some nice bittersweet chocolate. And then I'm going to add some hot water. While I'm waiting for that to boil, I'm going to add my dry goods together. So I've got some flour, so I'm going to add my salt to that, a little bit more baking powder and some baking soda. Now that I have my hot water, I'm going to add it to my chocolate and cocoa powder just to melt my chocolate. Traditionally, cake batter is made by creaming butter and sugar, but I'm going to be using mayonnaise. It adds this nice richness and great texture to your cake. And I'm using white sugar and also dark brown sugar for this cake. The brown sugar adds a little bit of molasses flavor, and for cakes in general, I like to use a combination of both. Okay, it looks nice and smooth and creamy. And so now I'm gonna add half of that applesauce baking powder egg-like mixture that I made. And that's already sort of gotten fluffy from the baking powder activating. And I'm also gonna add a little bit of vanilla. I'm gonna add the flour and the chocolate mixture in stages. And just be careful to do this on low so you don't make a huge mess in your kitchen. I have 2 prepared pans. They're sprayed with cooking spray and I have parchment on the bottom of them. I'm just gonna evenly divide the batter between them. I'm going to stick these cakes into a 350-degree oven for 40 to 45 minutes and move on to the next step. Traditionally, frosting is made with butter or cream, and what I'm going to use is coconut oil. So I'm going to take my chocolate, I'm going to put it on top of my double boiler, and then I'm going to add my coconut oil. I'm also adding a little bit of vanilla because vanilla makes everything taste better, and a little bit of salt because salt also makes everything taste better. Okay, so this is pretty good to go. Just going to whisk in a little bit of water. I'm basically wanting to let this chocolate set up into our frosting. And then I'm gonna add a little bit of peppermint extract, and that just gives our frosting a little bit of that Christmassy flavor. So to give this cake a really pretty finishing touch, I'm gonna show you how to make a really cool chocolate garnish. So I'm just gonna take some chocolate on my brush, and I'm gonna make about a 3-inch stripe. We're gonna chill them, and then go over the chocolate again to make them thicker. You need about 3 layers of chocolate per tray, and you need about 30 petals for the finished cake. So once you've done 3 layers of chocolate, we're gonna add our finishing touch, which is a little bit of peppermint candy. And now I'm gonna stick these back in the fridge and let them set up until I'm ready to frost my cake. The way that I'm gonna get this chocolate sauce to be a frosting is by chilling and whisking it. Okay, so my frosting is nice and thick. You can see that it really looks like frosting now, which is pretty cool because there's no butter in it. So I have my cakes, they're nice and cool. I'm just gonna flip them over onto this parchment so it's easier for me to work with them. And I'm gonna use a small offset spatula, and then you're gonna also wanna have a little spoon. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of my frosting, put that down, and then I'm gonna put my first layer down, and then I'm gonna place about 1.5 cups of frosting. So I'm gonna add some frosting to this top layer. And then I'm gonna take the remaining frosting and I'm just gonna use the back of my spatula to coat the sides. So once you have the whole cake frosted, I'm just gonna take my spoon and add some nice pretty swirls to the top of the cake. Whenever you feel like it's done, it's probably done. So that's for me right now. Not quite, now. So we have one last thing. I'm gonna grab our chocolate petals out of the fridge and finish this cake off. You can see that they're actually starting to come off of the parchment paper already, and that's how you kind of know that they're ready to go. And then I'm just gonna take them and place them right along the sides. I think these really add this really pretty gorgeous finishing touch. They are a little bit of extra work, but for a holiday, they really add this really gorgeous, elegant look. So there you go. We have a double layer chocolate cake with no eggs, no butter. It's super rich and luxurious. It's delicious, and I hope you enjoy making it.